everyone. So I wanted to do a video today just talking a bit about integration and how integration is really the key to healing. So often we can think and look at healing as like some magical thing, or like it's something outside of us will heal us, whether it's medicine, whether it's some sort of tool, whatever it is, we're taking it and we're healing. And what I want to invite you into is that you are your own healer. There's tools and things that can support us, but ultimately we are our own healer through the process of integration. So when I talk about integration, it's about how can I ultimately bring presence to and love whatever is arising. How can I bring it in, allow it to be seen, heard and felt, so it can be transformed into love, into a higher state, so it's not always coming up to get my attention. Because energy, it just wants to transform into one state to another, constantly expanding, just like we are as souls. And so we can think about, okay, well, what do I need to integrate? Where's it coming from? And so when we use the word trauma, that is basically an event or situation or something that happened that we couldn't process in the moment. Like it was too much for us, so we shut it down, we denied it, our body would have reacted in a certain way, fight, flight, freeze, fawn, to basically keep us safe, help us survive, because it was just too much for ourselves to handle. And so basically there's just all these unresolved things within us, some conscious, some unconscious. And so throughout our life there'll be things arising, whether it be we feel emotions coming up within us. They may feel painful, they may be hard to acknowledge. And so they're coming up to arise, to come to your awareness and to be integrated. And it's also, it could be past life stuff coming through in this life that wants to get your attention and be healed. It could be stuff from your ancestral line, and it could be part of the collective trauma of humanity, because we're all connected, we're not separate in this. And so integration is really key, and a part of that is really honoring our humanness, because it is our human self that is struggling with this process. That high dimensional aspect of us, our divine self, true self, whatever word you want to use, already knows its wholeness, already knows its sacredness. It is love. And so utilizing our awareness of our true self and integrating it with our humanness can be so healing. And we've also got to acknowledge, as humans, we have our nervous system, which will really determine how we deal with trauma when it arises, and how easeful it is for us to really process everything. Because what we want is a resilient nervous system. We want a capacity to be able to deal with situations in life without running away, without fighting. We want to be able to, not freeze. We want to be able to process something without feeling like it's a threat, like it's a survival issue when it may not be. Because there's different types of trauma, really severe trauma that people may have gone through, and then just someone who just maybe it looked like they had a happy and normal childhood, and there were still things that were traumatic to them, which may not seem like a big deal to someone else, but for them it was just too much. And so we all walk around with some kind of trauma within us, and also connected to the collective consciousness of humanity, our collective trauma all together throughout human history affecting us now. And so, I want to say here that I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychotherapist, psychologist, so I don't treat people with severe trauma, so if this is you, just take what resonates and leave the rest. I have done trauma training with the Heart Math Institute, so I do have an understanding of it. But yeah, these are just some information that you can take if it resonates with you and you feel like that you do have the ability to incorporate this process and this stuff into your life if you feel safe and comfortable to do so. Or else there's many other people that can help you with that. So the reason why, acknowledging our divinity, our humanness, our nervous system, our body, really acknowledging the sensations that are arising mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, and being present with them is really key. And that's why when a lot of people are present, they don't like being present, because everything can arise from that space. But I believe it's so important and so healing to have times when you almost go on this personal retreat and you kind of be with yourself and allow whatever wants to arise. And it will arise throughout your life through just different experiences as well. You'll feel something within you, this resistance arise, and what is needed is your own presence and your own love and your compassion. So with integration, what we want to do is, instead of denying it, pushing it away, we want to be in that space where we feel safe enough, where we can be like, I feel what is arising right now, and I'm going to be with you. It may feel uncomfortable, I may not want to do it, but there's something within me that's like, this is calling for my attention. I can't look away now. I need to be with it. And so we can use the power of our hearts to do this. I could talk so much about the heart. I've used the heart as a tool for ages before I discovered the Heart Math Institute, before I started studying meditation, and it was really spirit guiding me into this place, which once felt so painful. But when you integrate that, then it's no longer hanging there. It's no longer, you don't feel the heaviness of it, because you allow it to alchemize, you allow it to transform into its natural state of love. And when you are heart-centered, you kind of come to that space of when you allow something to come in. The heart's powerful and it can take it. It can take it. What we don't know how to deal with mentally or any other way, our heart can be like, come in here. I'll be present with you. I'll be with you. I'll see you. What do you have to tell me? And just be with it. And what you'll notice is that the pain or whatever it is that you're feeling will start to dissipate. It won't feel as strong, it won't feel as intense. And from that place, there may be this peace that arises, this acceptance, this almost this neutrality, because your divine self, your true self, is almost overtaking or becoming more dominant and integrating with your human awareness and your human self. And it's kind of aware of what's happening and loving and totally non-attached to these emotions that may arise, because it knows it's not who you are. We feel these things, we go through experiences, but sometimes we can label ourselves or become identified with these things when it's not who we are, it's what we experience and what we feel. As a human in this experience, we have the ability to feel so much, to have thoughts, to feel what it is to be in this physical body. And it can be intense at times. And we ultimately chose to come into this experience and forget our divinity and perceive separation. So when we integrate, it's like all those parts of us that we've pushed away, all those emotions that we haven't resolved, all those experiences that were too hard, those natural qualities or gifts or talents that we had that we told were silly or not good enough, that we pushed away, we bring it in. So integration is going to happen throughout our life. It's not we do something like this once and then it's done. Throughout our life, more is going to come up to our awareness. And so it's for us to be as conscious as possible. When it does, just be like, oh, interesting. And want to share your love. Want to share your light with it. Want to be conscious of it. Just like you would another person or a child. You know? What do you have to say? How do you feel? Do you need a hug? Who doesn't want love? Who doesn't want that nurturing? And so at the almost beginning of our, if we want to call it healing journey, it's really learning to embrace and work with our nervous system, being able to build up that resilience, learning how to self-soothe in a more healthy way. You know, some people can reach for alcohol or drugs or being on their phone 24/7, all these addictions. And so it's learning things like meditation or going out in nature or being with your breath, whatever it is that sort of brings you back in that state of safety. And then working to, how can I embrace this right now? And it's being gentle and compassionate with yourself, because you can only do the best that you can do. It may take steps, it may take days, or it may just take one moment to completely and fully surrender. If those of you that know my journey, back in 2016, you know, I got to a point where I didn't know if I could live one more day. And so my last resort was like, I cried out, God, if you really exist, then you need to help me now. And I just laid on the floor completely surrendered. It was like I had no fight left in me. I couldn't push against any longer. And I didn't know what I was doing at that moment, but my life after that changed. It's like I was seeing through new eyes. I was seeing the beauty. I was being so present. I had a shift in consciousness. I had that awakening happen within me. I had realizations arise. And I didn't realize how powerful it was. I didn't realize back then that in that moment I had accepted what was. I didn't have to like it. I didn't have to agree with it. But I accepted the moment, what had happened. And I surrendered. I let go. I invited in God or spirit. I didn't know what kind of higher power there was. I invited in ultimately love in my divinity and source and many other streams of consciousness and loving beings to come into my life and to help me in that process, and utilized my body, my mind, my spirit to really open. So then after that, there was this place where I was this channel. I wasn't holding on to so much density, so much pain. I just had enough, and I just had to really letting it go was really integrating it. It's like, I don't know how to deal with this. I don't know how to handle this. But there's something within me that knows. And it's not for us to get all analytical and up in our mind and try to think about it too much. The key thing is just presence and surrender and acceptance. How can I bring everything in that arises instead of pushing it away? How can I integrate? How can I recognize oneness with all things? How can I bring love to everything? At the start of our, if you want to call it healing journey, sometimes we can do practices like meditation and things where we can say like breathe in love and exhale out your stress and your worries, and that can be fine as like a starting tool to help soothe yourself and ease yourself. But then you come to realize that we're all one, we're all connected. Why would I send out my hate, my anger, my hurt for someone else to transmute, for someone else to feel, for someone else to process? When you and your heart is strong enough to do it, you can take in your stuff, perhaps at your own pace. And you can take in the hurt and the pain of those around you. When you're in that sovereign space where you know who you are and you're like, yes, love is powerful, my heart is powerful. There's nothing stronger than that. I'd rather take everyone's stuff in and breathe out, transmit out love, rather than all the things I want to get away from that just highlights and reinforces separation. So integration is really the key for healing. Integrating everything, what is arising, what needs my love. And we may not be able to do that with everything. It may be a process. Some things may be harder than others. But the key to healing is being present with what wants to talk to you. those pains in your body. What is it? How can I love you? What do you need? How can I shift this energy? Mentally, what are these thoughts going around? Why would you think that? That's not loving, that's not who I am. The emotions that arise. I know you're not who I am, but I know that I'm here to allow you to flow and transform. I have the strength, I have the power to transform you into a higher state. So the more we remember our divinity, our love, and we embrace our human body, our nervous system, our humanity, and this experience that we're in, and we really integrate both our humanity and our divinity, then the more we will be able to integrate all those things that arise within these experiences. And we can bring it in rather than pushing it away. So that's just a little talk about healing and integration and really remembering the power within you. Yes, use tools and things that you feel drawn to, get support from others. Others have a lot to share with you as well. And this is one big co-creation. We're on this planet to co-create with other people, and we can really offer some light and love and bring about wisdom and support to other people's lives that feel drawn to us and we feel drawn to. So it's not all about, I have to do this all on my own, because you're never alone. Even if you are sitting in your home and holding space for yourself and utilizing your heart, you've still got your spirit team around you. You've still got the loving source that you are with you. You're never alone. And integrate as much as you can. And then on a collective level, you're also supporting, transforming the collective trauma as well. If you want to think about humanity as one. And it's just this ripple effect out. So take care of yourself. Take care of others if you have the capacity to do so. And every day, what needs my love? When you get triggered in some way, what is the gift here? How can I bring something in close? How can I resolve something that is wanting my attention and love? I don't have to know where it came from. I don't have to analyze it. None of that. And from this balanced place within you, yes, I can accept you. I can receive you. I can be with you. Let me sit and be present with you. Let me breathe. Much love.